Hello everyone, so today we'll be looking at the pediatric age groups. There are nomenclature and vital sign range. So as you know, you have different names for different age groups. You have neonates, you have infants, you have toddlers, you have children, you have teenagers or adolescents. We're going to look at what each of those words mean. And then a vital sign range. We know that in children, their vital signs, we're talking about heart rate and respiratory rate here is higher than adults, and the younger they are, the higher the normal range is. So let's look at this one by one. Usually people put resources at the back, but I put it in front so that you know where I'm getting my information from. So the first one is my illustrated textbook of pediatrics, 4th edition. This is the textbook recommended by my university lecturers. We call it the sunflower book because there's always a sunflower picture in the front page. Next is NICHD. These are images that I saw on Google, and then these are the sources of those images. University of Iowa Healthcare. This is the first result that I found when I Google pediatric age group vital signs. And then there's a study over here done in the emergency department through the emergency department database about the vital sign distributions. Okay, so the reason I have so many sources is because different sources actually have slightly different values. I've excluded the FDA US age group because it's an outlier in terms of infant, as we'll see later on. No, I've not included it. Anyway. So nomenclature first. You have infants, you have neonate, you have infant, you have toddler, then you have a young child or preschool, and then you have school age or older child, and you have teenager or adolescent. So over here it say neonate is less than 4 weeks, infant is less than 1 year. So I assume it's 4 weeks to 1 year is infant. Then toddler is 1 year to 2 years. Preschool or young child is 2 to 5 years. School age or older child, they didn't specify the age, and the adolescent also they didn't specify the age. This is the pediatric textbook. This is from the textbook, right? The next source we'll be looking is from the second link, the NICHD, National Institute of Child Health and Human Development of Eunice Kennedy Shriver. This is an image I found on Google, so I took a screenshot of it. So there's over here it's the same. In terms of neonate, birth to 27 days is about 4 weeks to 1 month. 4 weeks is the same as 1 month. It's almost the same as 27 days. So neonate is below 1 month. Infancy is 1 month to 12 months. Toddler is 1 year to 2 years. Early childhood, so instead of saying young child or preschool, they call it early childhood. It's 2 to 5 years. And then middle childhood, instead of saying older child or school age, you call it middle child. They call it middle childhood, 6 to 11 years. Then you have early adolescents and late adolescents. We're only looking at the early adolescents here, so 12 to 18 years. Okay. Next one is from University of Iowa, their website. So we'll be looking at the respiratory. We're looking at the age group first. Okay, so newborn, they didn't specify the age, but infants, they say 1 month to 12 months. So I assume newborn is before 1 month. Toddler is 1 to 2 years as well. Preschooler, 3 to 5 years. School age, 6 to 12 years. Adolescent, okay, 13 to 17 years. So we can see that each of these are actually quite equivocal in terms of the nomenclature. I mentioned just now that the FDA age group is a bit different. So how different? They put the infant as 1 month to 2 years, whereas all these you have toddler taking the 1 to 2 years, and then infant is up to 1 year only. So since all these sources say that an infant is up to 1 year, we'll take 1 year, and we won't take the FDA's information. So in summary, less than 1 month, you call them neonate or newborn. So University of Iowa used newborn instead of neonate. Choose one to remember, and also know that the others are actually the others mean the same thing. So the bold ones are the ones that I chose. So less than 1 month is neonate, 1 month to 1 year is infant, 1 year to 2 years is toddler, 2 years to 5 years is young child. Also means preschooler or early childhood is the same thing. 5 years to 12 years is older child or school age or middle childhood. It's easier for me to remember young child than older child. And then 12 years to 18 years is teenager or adolescent. Right. Next, we'll be looking at the vital signs. So the vital signs include the respiratory rate and the heart rate. First, we'll be looking at respiratory rate. So this is the paper done using the emergency department database, the last resource that we looked at just now. So they divided the range into centiles. So in medicine or in statistics, right, usually the distribution will be a bell curve, a normal distribution, so it goes up like this. Where's the pen pointer? So the bell curve is usually like this, and then you take the normal between the 5th percentile and 95th percentile. So anything outside the normal range, we consider it as significantly out of the normal. So we look at the 5th percentile and the 95th percentile. We just approximate and give it a nice number. So from here, from birth to about 4 months, the 95th percentile, so the upper limit is about 60, and then the 5th percentile is about 20 if you round down to the nearest tens. Then in the infants, which is about 4 months to 1 year, you have about 50. So this is 56, this is 47, and all these values go about 50, and over here is about 20. So I put the estimate here, 20 to 50. Then in toddlers, you have about 40 here. Here is about a bit more than 40, but if you round down, it's 40. And then over here, if you round up, all these is 19 and 20, so put 20 to 40. So these are very exact, right? So there's no use remembering very exact numbers if you, in the end, you cannot remember it. So better to round it off to nice numbers and try to remember them. We'll be looking at a few sources, and then we'll make up a number that's easy to remember in the end. Because the main point of memorizing all these numbers is so that during examination, right, you look at the child, you measure the respiratory rate. The child comes in with some sort of complaint, let's say shortness of breath, the parent complains that it's breathing faster, looks out of breath. And then you measure the vital signs, you feel for the pulse rate, and you observe for the respiratory rate, and you want to know at that spot whether this is around normal range or not. So you need to know what normal vital signs to expect. So let's continue. After toddler, you have the early childhood. So this is about 2 years to 5 years, and then approximately it's about 20 to 35. This is the respiratory rate. Okay, next is late childhood, or not late childhood, you call it older child. Older child, you have about 15 to 30 over here. And then in adolescents, which is 12 years to 18 years, you have about 15 here, and then over here about 25. Right. So is it nice to remember? 20 to 60, 20 to 50, 20 to 40, 20 to 35, 15 to 30, 15 to 25. If you like remembering numbers, maybe you can remember this, but I'll come up with nicer numbers at the end. So this is from the University of Iowa. Respiratory rate in newborn, they put as 30 to 60, infants 30 to 60, toddler 24 to 40, not very nice numbers here, preschooler 20 to 34, also not very nice numbers, 15 to 30 for school age, and 12 to 20 for adolescent. Then from the pediatric textbook, it's a bit strange here, they don't have toddlers here, so they skip toddlers. So what's the value for toddlers after infant? So what's the value for 1 to 2 years? We don't know. And then the normal value, right, is 30 to 50, but there's tachypnea is only more than 60. So what about 50 to 60? So it's a bit strange to interpret. So that's why I'm making this video, so that we have a nice, we're confident in some numbers and we make it nice numbers to remember, so we can use it during physical examinations. So in neonates, we look at the tachypnea range. So neonate tachypnea is more than 60. So infants is more than 50, young children more than 40, older children more than 30. It's very, very nice to remember 60, 50, 40, 30, but then there's no toddlers here. So you might be tricked. Okay, next we look at heart rate. Heart rate, okay lah, I won't go through all this already, because it's quite tedious. So in neonates, which is up to 4 months, you have a range about 120 to 185 for the centiles for the heart rate. So you see neonates have the highest heart rates, and after that it starts to go down. In infants it's 105 to 180, then in toddlers is 100 to 180. It's rather high. And then in what's this? Young child up to 5 years is 85 to 150, then older child is 70 to 130, then after that adolescent you have 60 to 120. And then from the University of Iowa you have these ranges: 100 to 180, 100 to 170, 80 to 150. Okay, you can read them on your own. I have a summary slide at the end. And then the pediatric textbook, 110 to 160 for less than 1 year. Over here, you realize that there's no neonate data. So if you want to remember the numbers here, although it's nice to remember 60, 40, 20, 10, just now 60, 50, 40, 30, right? It's nice to remember, but then you skip a few age groups. Over here, you don't have neonates, so you can't remember it like that. And then over here, you don't have toddlers. 1 to 2 years is not here. Neonates is not here. And then, yeah. And over here, you don't even have adolescent just now at the respiratory rate. Okay, so I summarize it in a table. So over here is the respiratory rate, upper range. Usually you look at the upper range, because when you come in with infection or in distress or something is wrong, usually it's tachypnea, tachycardia. And then once you know the upper range, you can gauge the normal range. You don't have to be that accurate. It's just for you to quickly judge whether this is in the normal or not. Then over here you have the pulse rate, the upper range of the pulse rate. So the first column here is first column, right? First column or first row? Okay, now mind. So over here you can see this is from the sunflower. No, sunflower book is the third one. This one is from the paper. This one is from the University of Iowa. This one is from the sunflower book. So in terms of respiratory rate, it's quite equivocal, 60, 60, 60, so we take 60. Over here, 50, 60, 50. University of Iowa is higher, so we take 50 because it's easier to remember, 60, 50, 40, right? And then Toddler is quite equivocal between the paper and University of Iowa, both says 40. There's no data for the sunflower book, so we take 40. Then young child, 35, 34, and 40, we take 35 because it's more people say it's 35. Okay, older child, 30, 30, 30, so 30, equivocal. Adolescent, 25 and 20. So the reason I take 20 is because in adolescent, right, 12 years to 18 years, you can use the normal adult range to remember. So normal adult range for the respiratory rate is 12 to 20, right? So you just remember 12 to 20. Easier to remember. The most important is remember. So nice numbers to remember here: 60, 50, 40, then 35, 30, 20. And if you memorize the nomenclature and the age range, then you can memorize the vital signs already. And then you look at the pulse rate here. So pulse rate neonate, the paper is a bit higher over here. One of the reasons is could be because this is taken from the emergency department database, right? So most people at the emergency department, most patients coming in have some sort of distress, right? They are sick, and so their hearts are beating faster. So it could be a reason why it's much higher than the other data here. So it could be an overestimate. Neonate, less than 1 month, is 185. The paper says 185. University of Iowa says 180. The textbook doesn't have data, so we take 180 from University of Iowa. That is easy to remember. 180. Then infants we take, so 180, 170, 160. We take the middle one, University of Iowa, so 170. Then toddler, you have 180 and 150. So we take somewhere in between, 160, and it's easy to remember, 876. Then young child, 150, 130, and 140. So for young child and older child, I'll just take the one from the pediatric textbook. So 140, 120. Then in adolescent, we take 100 lah. Over here is 120 is the emergency department one, it's a bit high. Then over here is a strange number, 90. Because in adults, normal heart rate is about 60 to 100, right? You remember that number. So you just remember everything in adolescent, 12 years to 18 years is already around the adult range. So heart rate is about 60 to 100. So easy to remember, 80, 70, 60. Then over here, jump down by 20, jump down by 20, jump down by 20. Here, jump down by 5. Then continue jumping down by 10. Okay. So I hope this is helpful. I can give you a few scenarios where you can try to see whether you remember or not. So don't look at the slides. I don't have an end slide. Never mind. So let's say a child comes in, a 10-month-old baby comes in, and then you measure the heart rate and the respiratory rate. Okay, I'll move here. Never mind. How much do you expect their respiratory rate and pulse rate to be? So respiratory rate, because 10 months is under infants, and then you will expect the respiratory rate to be below 50, and then the heart rate to be below 170. Then what if someone, a child, 7-year-old child comes in and you examine? So the 7-year-old is over here, older child. So you expect their heart rate to be below 30. Your respiratory rate to be below 30 and the heart rate to be below 120. Yeah, so this is how you use this summary. Okay, that's all I have for you. I hope it's helpful. Thank you.